You know, leadership is about getting better. All of us are doing good, but we can do better. So that's the beauty of leadership, that we are basically there to get better. And I don't know whether I am really the right person to speak on this, but I'm going to touch it in a different way. Probably you never expected this, but I believe in the panel discussions something good will come out. So I went scholarly so that I am sure of myself, because I'm speaking to an intellectual audience. That is why I had to go to Google, but also do other research so that we are really on the same page. I don't know whether the letters come out well, but from the business and economics perspective, there are many factors of production. And parts of production process that exist in making a good. I'll explain a bit more. And capital refers to items that are used to create a good and are involved in the production process. So the people with the knowledge or ability to produce an item are known within a business context as human capital. So I will try to be more specific. I'll talk about human capital, but also will speak deeply on something that I will share with us later on. So the resources used to produce a good, or the land on which an item, so all of us know, for example, those of you who do gardening, so land is a capital. But also, you need tools, you will need tractors, you need machines, you need hoes, so that you can produce crops that we shall enjoy. So physical capital is defined in economics as the tangible and human-made goods or assets that go into the process of making another item. During the production process, the buildings, which is capital, equipment, machinery, computers, and other technologies used to make a good are all considered as physical capital. So these assets are similar in that they each help turn raw materials or natural capital, or natural capital into a finished product. So capital is something very big. And as I was thinking, I didn't know the scope. Where should I begin and where should I end? But you'll forgive me, I'm going to explain it the way I know it. And for me, I am going to focus on human capital, because we are all humans and we are all leaders. So human capital refers to the skills. This is a bit economical, but we need it, to the knowledge and experience possessed by an individual or population, viewed in terms of their value or cost to an organization or a country. So that is what I can say human capital is. And so for me, I'm going to speak on the subject of branding as an item of human capital. So under human capital, I'm going to speak on the subject of branding. I know there are people who are business people here, or who have business intentions, but also people who are experts in certain things, intellectuals, people in the professional world. So this is to all of us. So branding, what did I define as branding? It is the identity of a specific product, service, or business. Brand. Branding is your uniqueness. It's it's who you are. When you look at Wikipedia, it says that branding can differentiate in many forms, in names, in colors, in signs, etc. For example, all of you know that the logo of Mercedes-Benz is different from the logo of Toyota. It's quite different. But at the same time, you also know that the brand of Coca-Cola is different from the brand of Pepsi. Brand. What makes Pepsi, Pepsi? What makes Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola? What makes Toyota, Toyota? What makes Benz, Benz? The brand, the uniqueness. So your brand is your uniqueness. Your brand is what makes you different from other people. A name can be your brand. You know? A color can be your brand. Some of us are light-skinned, others dark-skinned, others, I don't know how they call those colors. But I felt that branding is something that we can learn and share together. So I'm going to take us through 6 ways of branding ourselves. 6 ways of branding ourselves. Now, we should work one of the things that can make you a brand is your value system. It's your value system. Our value system is the one that lives beyond our graves. The best way you can live beyond your grave is when you have a certain value set that people know you by. That's a brand. The way you behave, the way you conduct yourself is a brand. And as a human, that is the way you sell yourself. That is the way you market yourself. So branding simply means that I'm out there for display, for people to buy me, for people to know who I am, for people to accept. So our value system is very important. What do you sell to people? What beliefs do people know about you? That is key as a leader. How do people describe you? If somebody was to describe you in one word, what would they say? What would they say about Lambert? Would they say, so if somebody said, who is Lambert? Or Lambert? Lambert is French, Lambert is English for our French speakers. What would they say is Lambert or Lambert? So that is key, the value system. And now, it is the beliefs. It's your mental conditioning. It's the life that you decide to live that can even continue beyond your graveyard. This is key for us as leaders. But also, let's work on our skill sets. Another way of branding ourselves is when we work on our skill sets. People will like your skill more than your personality. Marketeers, do you know when you go to sell a product out there, people don't care about your face, but they care about the way you are convincing them to buy a product. So as business, people coming up, but also as professionals, what is your skill set? How do you sell your skill set? It's important that we should keep growing our skill set to be the best. You cannot become an expert in everything. You can only become an expert in something. So as leaders, what is your skill set? What do people know you about? What skill do you have that can make you different from other people? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind us that we are in a competitive world, that if we can have more skill, we can be more competitive. The skill, it's what sets you apart. It's that thing that even if you woke up in the middle of the night, you'll still do it. You are gifted in that. You like that. How do we brand ourselves? Number 3, our communication skills. We should learn to communicate our ideas. We should start to communicate. One of the things that I'd like you to know, the world is heading in a direction that if you are not able to communicate in future, it's going to be hard to be competitive. I have a friend of mine who told me something, that the young people today are taking up jobs of older people, even in bigger offices, when actually those young people may not know a lot about the computer, but they know how to communicate. They know how to communicate. What does communication do? Communication draws you to the other person. They don't need to know more about you. As long as you can articulate your ideas and sell your ideas to people, then people will buy into you. As leaders, is there any way we can get better in our communication? How do we express ourselves? Can we be more confident? Can you learn an extra language? The world is so big that if you know more than one language, you can compete. Like people who can speak English and French in today's world, advantageous in one way or the other. They are better than people who are speaking one language. If an international job came up, that person will outcompete you because they are speakers of 2 languages or more than languages, more than 2 or 3 languages. So communication is key. It's an aspect that many leaders we are neglecting. Do we practice our communication? Do we capture the audience, so to speak? Do we show up to tell the people that we are here? Every time you start to talk, you tell the world who you are. And people will always judge us by the way we are trying to communicate. Now, this is good. Our dress code. We are in a laissez-faire. Have you heard of the word laissez-faire? A free. We are in a free world that people today don't care about what they dress. But I want to remind us that we should dress in a way we want to be addressed. Dress in a way you want to be addressed. Because the way you dress brings a response. But also, some people dress as prospects and others dress as suspects. There's a difference between a prospect and a suspect. When you're a prospect, it means, you can be trusted. Somebody can give you a chance. When you're a suspect, it means people are running away from you. They are not sure. Should I keep this person? If this person came to do an interview, I am very sure if you were a CEO, you wouldn't give them a job. They may have brilliant ideas, but chances are very high that, sorry, this is not the right place for you to try. But if this person came to do an interview in your office, even when he doesn't have a lot in his mind, but his impression on you will speak volumes. People want to see you before they can listen to you. This is deep, ladies and gentlemen. But also, you do not have a second chance to give first impression. First impression. You cannot have a second chance. If you prospect, somebody is there to tell you, you know what? I want to work with you. I want to do business with you. So as young professionals, this is key. We're in a world where can somebody recommend you? You know, today, you've heard of references on your CV. Can somebody, there are people they call and they tell them, that one I am not supporting. I'm not putting my hand on that person. You see? So, if you dress like this, chances are very high people won't recommend you. But also, have good ethics and manners. Have good ethics and manners. How do you relate with other people? Now, we are in a world that you determine what you want to be. There are some countries today, they will tell you, you can wake up and say, if you don't want to be a boy, you can choose to be a girl. There are countries where you are told you can choose your gender. So you have all the freedom. But remember that ethics are key. Good manners are key. You know? I like telling people that every time you see a well-behaved person, they have grown up in a home. Every time you see somebody who is wrongly behaving, they have grown up on the compound, or what you would call a street. Like, have you seen those street boys? They cannot fear to tell you a word that you've not heard in 30 years. You see that? Manners, ethics. Ethics are key. Even though when the world is getting in another direction, it doesn't mean that you should go with them. I like what the Holy Scriptures say, where the Bible says that we are in the world, but we are not of the world. Which means you have a choice to make as a leader. We should be morally upright. We should have ethics. We should do things that are human so that we can pass that on to other people. There are young people today, you know, you are talking to them and they are looking the other side. They don't want to hear you. They know everything. They know everything. They think they know everything. They know everything. They don't need your correction. But I worry for our world going into the future, that it may be very difficult to correct people if we don't start now. But we need to model it. One of the issues we've had is we have not had good people to model good leadership. We've not had good parents to model for their children. We've not had people to be a good example to others. That is why our world is struggling, and it is us as leaders to try and change this. As I finish, how do we brand ourselves? Grow your gift. Serve your gift to the world. One action is better than 100 intentions. One action is better than 100 intentions. You know, there are times where there you have 50 intentions you want to do something. 100 intentions. 200 intentions. 500 intentions. But it all begins with one action. Is there something that you've been trying to do as a leader, but because of circumstances around, you have good thoughts, but starting has been hard? Starting has been hard. Start small. As you grow, big. Start small. Don't allow people's opinions to define your reality. People will tell you you are not good enough. They say that to everybody who has succeeded. But is it something that we can purpose and say, no, let me start small. Let me go with one action. Let me translate 100 intentions into one action. Some of you have been dreaming of starting a business. Some of you have been dreaming of starting something. You know what you've been dreaming of. But for some reason, we are always there. Nobody did this in my family, by the way. You know, even my father, left this. How can I be better than him? So the environment has dictated who we want to be. But let's rise up. The Bible says a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great people. So every time you work on your gift, you might be a good business person. Tomorrow, you'll be invited to do certain things that are even bigger than you. Some of you are very kind people. You should grow your kindness that it can affect people. You are as good as a business person if you succeed in your kindness. Start small, dream big. As I finish, I want to encourage us that in this life, let's struggle to live the best in the world. Struggle to live the world better than you found it. At least live something good for people in the future. Then they will know, oh, this person did this, even if it is small. But if it was done with good actions, then it will yield something big. Thank you very much. I thought I would encourage you in these words. Blessings.
And he told us a funny story, a funny experience, what happened to him when he was invited to attend a certain conference in the UK. He's a big guy, but this is a person who spent much of his time in the States, in the US. So he's a Gen Z, you would say. And he's a free guy. So because he oversees, he represents that NGO big guy in all those countries. And the owner of the NGO had become a friend, but the owner was the son of a billionaire. But because they were friends, they had become friends, when they invited him, he did not put on a shot, but the way he didn't describe how he was putting on, but he told us when he entered the room, as the big people were coming in, some people had to come and usher him out. They asked him, "Sir, we have a suite for you on the first floor." They asked him the size of a suit that he can put on. Then he said 48, then 36, the trouser. Lucky enough, when they took him there, he didn't have to change everything, because at least the trouser was a bit decent, so he had to put on a suit. So he was telling us how he was very ashamed, embarrassed, someone of his title, but the following morning they had to go for golf because he was a friend, a buddy to the owner of that NGO. And he had to be on a short and put on a Nike t-shirt because he was going for golf. So my comment is that to me, there's nothing like a specific good attire, dress code. It's all about knowing where you are, what you're going for, to make sure you don't get embarrassed like that big friend of mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. My name is Saidi. Thank you, Uncle William, for the sharing. Actually, every point is a topic, because if you say dress code, it's also something we need to learn in details. If you say manners, there are different manners, table manners, conference manners, like here we're in the room. So thank you. And branding, it's a big thing. Actually, most of the companies are selling because of the brand. You can see Apple phones. In Africa, everyone wants an Apple phone. And some of the phones are like, it's equivalent to a protein in Bujesera. But because it's Apple, many people are buying them. So the same to us. The more you brand yourself, the more you actually, it's not just about words, your actions. So you remember those of us who studied in Cornerstone. There are people who could brand themselves very well, but when it goes to care group and class, people were not even voted from their classes or care groups. But they cheer you, but behind the scene, they know this person, his actions are not equivalent to their words. So, personal experience, by that. That's why we should have a good company. People who are, I always want to interact with smart people, people I can learn from. So, when no one taught me how to dress. You know, we used to dress uniforms, what. So there is a day I went for a wedding in a t-shirt. Hey, what a... Some people didn't even want to greet me. I was like, what's wrong with me? So from there I didn't go back. I don't go to weddings in a t-shirt. So like Modest said, you just need to know where you are going. Some places need you to be smart. Other places, of course, you can't go to jog in a gym. So there are different ways, but I'm happy to be part of this community. Actually, when you talked about physical, I was like, is it like heavy lifting? So I was like, I'm going to be attacked throughout, but I'm happy. Thank you.